For whom the bell tolls for thee. So the mindfulness bell is a beautiful friend that invites us to move to our center and let our breath become conscious. Breathing in, I breathe in. Breathing out, I breathe out. In, out. And this sacred practice takes us to the sacred moment. Time dissolves, and we are living in the eternal now. When I studied with Thich Nhat Hanh, this was the practice that we did every day, throughout the day. The bell would ring, we would stop. We would move into the eternal now. And then instead of employing the question, what is wrong, we would say, what is right? And to live in that vibration of awareness. This too is good. This too is for God. And I demand to see the blessing. And in that simple practice of being here now, as Ram Dass would say, or being love now, as Ram Dass said at the end of his life, is our practice. And the most beautiful thing of this long, long ministry that I've had is the simplicity of that awareness is one of the most profound things that I ever do, is to stop, to go within, and to meet what is. If my mind is running around with a narrative, I am the awareness of that. If I go down a path of complaint and judgment, I become the awareness of that path. And so, as Buddha would say, awareness is the Lord of everything. In Sufism, they say, am I not your Lord? To which the awake, aware says, yes, we witness you. So could we witness the divine as it courts us from a flower, from a little dog that runs down the aisle and comes up to us with his loving little face? This is divine love coming to greet us, no doubt about it. I stopped by my grow boxes this morning and there were some flowers that had fallen over, and I had the choice to cut them off and throw them away, but I carried them into the center and put them in a vase. And even in their compromised, flowering nature, they're shining from within. And so all of life is here for us, every bit of it. Probably especially the stuff that's challenging us. And so we meet here today to inquire into the idea, what is the work of being human here on planet Earth? We're spiritual beings, yet we're having a human experience. And when we live in the question, our mind, our soul is 10 times more vital than if we think we have the answers. And so I love every Sunday to dive deeply into the question, how might this work of being human flower in a deeper way that assists all of us in facing life and finding the blessings are there, overflowing blessings, especially with what's going on right now. It's not about getting rid of what is. It's about embracing what is. It's always about embracing what is. This too is good, and this too is for God. And I make a demand on the universe to see the blessing in it. Boy, then life opens up in ways. My beloved Adam came with all these plans for us, and they all made their transition. But it was the act of bringing them in which was so sacred. And one of the ladies' toilets was not working. I called Adam into the ladies' room, and all of a sudden, it stopped acting up. And I smiled. Life has a way of surprising us, and we get to smile. And so we open to this experience today. If you want to open your eyes, and I want to invite Kelly and Mark up, Bob up, because Kelly's going to do a Ricky Byers song, and I thought we might start with it, and if we feel like it, we could conclude with it, because it's a ministry in itself. Ricky's a dear, dear friend of mine, and she knows that a big part of our spirituality is to let go of what no longer serves us, and that's huge. And then that creates space for something to fill that space. But we have to be willing to let go of the narrative. Is there anything that's annoying you and that you're complaining about? It's not serving you. So we get to let go of all the stuff that's bogging us down, and then find that playful place that's waiting for us. And I'll let Kelly. Welcome home, darling.
Thank you. Missed you all. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Just let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Here we go. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Last time I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God. Last time, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Yeah. Thank you. That was wonderful, darling. Yeah, to release what it is we need to release, to let go and let God. It's such a lifelong endeavor. And so it's fun for me to explore different ideas. And I pulled out my Science of Mind magazine, which I just cherish. And this month, August, it's about fear as the motivating guide. And so it takes fear and you know, the acronym for fear is forgetting that everything is really all right. So the fear isn't a bad thing, it's an opportunity. And I jumped into this beautiful intro by Dr. Ernest Holmes. He's the founder of this teaching. And he has a beautiful way of kind of setting the tone. He says, how to get the most out of your life. And he does this beautiful little metaphor at the beginning. He said, a few days ago, I read a poem by Don Blanding in which he speaks of the quiet faith within a simple seed. Now, I'm a gardener, and the seed has potential. And that seed of the divinity is within all of us, Miss Anastasia. Ooh, we're going to water those seeds today. And he says, what a great thought that is. No mad rush against time, just this quiet assurance of its own nature. And we are the God seed that we're watering. The quiet faith within a seed, the divine alchemy of its own being, producing verdant beauty out of its own life, as though it had complete faith in its own beingness, in the soil in which it is rooted, in the sun and the rain and the air in which it lifts its head and draws back the very power to live its magnificence. To find faith in a seed. Is that too simple? I wonder. And then he concludes it this way. There is no right viewing of the universe without seeing God in absolutely everything. For God is everywhere. There is no spot where God is not. It's not some man up in the sky. It's this universal presence. And so he said, God is everywhere. God is all there really is. The sun, the moon, the stars, the universe, and the flicker of your own eyelashes at this very moment. And God has given us the power to create, the power of our imagination, and the greatest thing in life. And he goes on and on with his ideas. And he concludes, he has a meditation that's like 5 pages long. And at the very end, he says, it is our desire that everything we touch shall be blessed, that everyone we think about shall be helped, that every situation in which we find ourselves shall be enlightened by our consciousness of this divine presence that is forever blessing all and harming none. So there is that which is within us that's wanting to manifest in our experiences. And just that simple awareness is like the stepping stone, the first step. The first step of spiritual mind treatment is recognition and unification. There is this divine power, and it's within us, and it's all around us. And then we get to build on that idea. And so I skipped over to my lovely friend, David Alexander, who's this young minister who was living in Oregon. He's a white man with a black wife. He ended up getting the church in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was a big step for him because he became politically active in the South. And he's even written a book about it. And I love David Alexander's courage to step out in faith with our New Thought teaching in a place where we have what they call the Bible Belt. And so this is what David, he calls it, you're either extending yourself or you're projecting your stuff out there. The projecting is blaming and judging and this and that. You're either extending or you're projecting. And here's David Alexander. I like the young versus the old now. He says, there is something within you that wants to express itself. It is what I would call the life of wholeness. We may operate with it and make room for it through our spiritual practices, or we may choose to deny it. Ooh. Choosing to deny it will lead to resentment, blame, shame, and stories about why we don't have the life that we are secretly desiring. So we're blaming the world for the stuff that we are challenged with. And then he says, so are you ready to stop projecting and blaming and criticizing and start extending yourself for the greatest good for all? Oh, gosh, isn't that juicy? And here's what he concludes. The formula begins with understanding that love is the foundation of our universe, and therefore who and what we all are. Because love is who you are, you have all that you need for a life of wholeness. How do you access it? Through the law of givingness. If you want something, give it away. Carefully examine any area of your life where you feel that you're not heard, where you're not seen or appreciated to the degree that you would like, or you feel that you deserve to be. Those feelings come from projecting what you are not giving unto others. So reverse that behavior and you will experience a divine flip. You stop pointing a finger at the world because 3 fingers point back at you. So you're not extending, you're not projecting, and here's how he concludes. This will lead you to the third and the final piece of the formula. Peace comes by way of surrendering our positions of defensiveness. Defending your story limits you into grievances with life that will always cost you peace and stand in the way of your own wholeness. Is your story worth such a high price? Dare to claim the answer that is much bigger than your problem, and peace will be yours right now. He says, travel well, my friends. So be for something and against nothing, and I'll show you someone who will change the world. So could we be for world peace? You know, there's so much chaos going on in the world right now, and I realize that it's in divine order because this stuff has to happen for that shift in consciousness to take place. And so I went to my friend Mark Nepo, a cancer survivor like you, Raul, and he said the cancer was the greatest gift, paradoxically, that he ever had because it taught him to meet this deeper emerging spirituality inside the darkness. He says, the way a stone comes over to be smooth, I've learned that it has to go through the pounding. So accepting my death is the threshold to feeling the power of being alive. Through my cancer, the dark flowering teacher that tore the mask of the ideas from my face, I've learned over time that what keeps me going is what I share with all living things. I've learned that any storm truly is my guide. You know, all that stuff you've been through, Anastasia, has guided you, and you shine so brilliantly because of every little bit of it, pushing us to live beyond the shell that we didn't know that we were polishing. So during the storm that makes us drop what we think is important, my ambitions shattered like windows, and I was stunned by the light off of all the broken bits of glass. I confess, I cut myself trying to piece them all back together, but finally accepted they were more beautiful in pieces, and I put them in a bowl of water, and I left them there to catch the light. Oh, my goodness gracious. And this is what he says. Now I'm in love with the world. This is at the end of the book. And there is no end to this love, Sylvia, he said. That place opens within us like a fist that is no longer strong enough to stay closed and clenched. And the ache returns. Thank you, God. That sweet and sudden ache that lets me know that I am alive and my spirit wants to do more. He said, what majesty of cells now assemble around this luminous presence that moves around as me. He's the cancer survivor, and he's not playing the victim. How is it that I'm still here? Each thing touched, each breath, each glint of light, each pain in my gut is cause now for praise. I pray to keep falling in love with everyone that I meet, with every child's eyes, with every fallen being who is getting up. Like a worm that is cut in two, the heart only grows another heart. Oh, my goodness gracious. And when the cut in my mind heals, I grow another mind. Birds migrate and caribous circle the cold top of the world. Perhaps we all migrate between love and suffering, making our wounded, joyous cries, alone and then together, and then alone and then together. Oh, praise the soul's migration. I fall, I get up, I run from you, and then I look for you. I am again in love with the world. And so whatever we're going through is in divine order. And who's to say that we weren't going to go through some stuff, Mr. Adam? Thank you, Mark Nepo. That's why he's such a hero to me, because he doesn't run from life. He faces life. And the other one that faces life is my beloved Thich Nhat Hanh. Oh, he's my teacher for now and forever. And this is what Thich Nhat Hanh says, the peace of divine reality. He says, we neglect what is right, what is wonderful within us and all around us, the practice of mindfulness, of what is not wrong is wonderful. He says, instead of always looking for what is wrong, he says, let your practice be to look for what is not wrong. She's nodding her head. What? He says, most of us only ask what is wrong. So asking the other question, what is right, what is not wrong, is a great new beginning. And by asking in this way and paying attention to the fresh elements that are healing and refreshing, we are then able to heal ourselves, to grow, and to generate joy and happiness for our sake and for the sake of the people that live all around us. What is not wrong? We come here to heal at a deeper level, and sometimes we have to go through some stuff. The Buddha delivered a sermon on the mindfulness of breathing, and he proposed 16 exercises for us to practice. These exercises are absolutely wonderful. The first exercise is so simple, and this is the one he stresses. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in, and breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. He said, just that. That's the first exercise. In, out. You breathe in, and you know that it is an in-breath. You breathe out, and you say out. You recognize this is an out-breath, and that is all. And he says, and that is profound. Well, is it that simple, Heather? I don't know. Then he goes on to say, Thich Nhat Hanh, thinking is also important, but most of our thinking is useless thinking. Oops. It seems that we have a cassette tape within our head, and it's always running day and night. I know none of you have that. Just press the stop button. That's his suggestion. Oh dear. But with our thinking, we do not have such a button. So when we think too much, we worry, we cannot sleep, we block our encounters, and we miss the present moment. Stop. Let go. Be still. There's that wonderful chant, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. So the requirement is that we be still. I'll have a sip of water for that one. So Thich Nhat Hanh goes on to say, so according to this method of breathing, when we breathe in and out, we stop thinking. Because in and out are not thoughts. Don't you love his words, Adam? They're not thoughts. They are only words that help us concentrate on our breathing. So if we keep breathing in and out and smiling just for a few minutes, we become quite refreshed. We recover ourselves. And then we can encounter a flower. We can encounter a piece of bread, a sip of wine, or a smiling child. We do not miss anything that is happening in the present moment. This is the moment the Lord has made, and there's a little dog lying right there who's opening my heart like you wouldn't believe. Whoa, you know, dog spelled backwards is God. Just say it. To me, breathing, this is Thich Nhat Hanh, is a joy that I cannot afford to miss. The simplicity of it, Anastasia, blows me away. Every day I practice breathing. In my small meditation room is this simple sentence, breathe. You are alive. Just breathing and smiling can make us very happy. And when we breathe consciously, we recover ourselves completely. And then we encounter life in the present moment, which is all we really have. If we live in mindfulness, it is possible to encounter God right in the present moment while we are washing the dishes, while we're looking at a flower, or while we're looking in the eyes of a child. At the end, he says, life can be found only in the present moment, Adam. Only in the present moment. The past is gone. The future is not here. And if we do not go back to ourselves in the present moment, we cannot be in touch with life at all. So that's taking us into the life that we have. And I wanted to close with my beloved Jeff Foster, who has us embrace the stuff that's challenging in the present moment, to not run away from it. And that's huge. It's not being in a place called denial. It's saying yes to what is. So this way of being human is to say yes to what is, even if it's a challenge, my beloved. Here's Jeff. He says, learning to say yes when we mean yes and no when we mean no, if that hurts someone, giving them back their it gives them back their responsibility to heal. So learning that love is not all butterflies and roses and positive feelings. It is also work. Love can be a mess. It is pain and the courage to breathe through the pain so we can find joy and expansiveness. Love asks us to become more and more real, more and more human, more and more conscious, and less perfect. Oh dear. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Oops. Less and less perfect. More self aware and willing to feel what is. And then to even feel more. And guess what? And even feel more than that. And then he adds, and more, and more, and more. So we're not running away. And to let our hearts break wide open sometimes. Ooh, and to not know sometimes. It's okay to not know. To be bored sometimes. To be blissed out sometimes. And to be full of life sometimes. Every moment is sacred, and we're not here to judge any of it, Adam. To sometimes not know what the next step is, and then to take it anyway. Love is not a feeling, it's not a state or an experience, it's not a destination. It's this extraordinary light with a capital L that shines from within. There is this love and light from within, and we get to let it shine. Wow. It shines from within. It's this radiant knowing with a capital K that never leaves us. And it is the joie de vivre, the joy of being alive. So there's this gnosis, this knowing within. There's this joy of being alive. And it's all connected to that love and light within us. That's the divine presence. So Jeff goes on to say this. We can know it together, and we can also know it alone. We can remind each other of it. And oftentimes we can forget it also. We can trigger each other and help each other to become more curious about those triggers. And we can do that work or not do that work. It's always an opportunity to ask those questions, Babette. What is this showing you? We can meet in love's fire and walk together or not. We can share our hearts, step back, step towards one another, or we can stay right where we are. Learn to love the dance of it, the spontaneity of it, the adventure of it, the mystery of it, the immediacy and the intimacy of it, and the running too. So this life is going to be constantly a divine experience, Miss Anastasia, and we get to leap into all of it, not run away from a darn thing. Learn to unlearn what we know, and embrace the unknowing as a new knowing. Oh, I love things like that. I don't know and I don't need to know, but there's something within me that does know. And get more and more content with the unresolvability of it all. Oh, Jesus. Get more and more content with the unresolvability of it all. I don't know if we'll ever get another dog. And you know what? It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. More and more happy with the unhappy one. Certain about the uncertainty and secure in our own insecurity. More and more blissed out and even our lack of bliss. More and more curious about what's here right now and less solid. More and more playful and less a seeker of love and more a giver of love. And in that being a finder of love. And then this wild presence that invites others into the same joy. There's this wild presence that's within and all around, and it's inviting us to step into the uncertainty. That's what it felt like when I came to Alabama in 1989. I didn't know that I would fall in love with Judy Graff as she played the piano, and Sylvie would dance around the center with Joe O'Neill. This is a love's adventure in each and every moment of our lives. It's love's adventure in each and every moment of our lives. And so he asks us to make a commitment. Let's commit to presence. Let's commit to meeting in the fire of today. Let's commit to knowing each other and letting others be known. Let's commit to walking a path of healing wherever it may take us. Don't you love the commitment, Komatare? My favorite sermon I've done in 37 years was Freedom and Commitment. I believe in commitment. To commit to this dance, to commit to my beloveds, to commit to a little dog on the floor. Our desires wax and wane. Our dreams are born and they die in every moment. Let's not commit to a form of love. Let's make a deeper commitment, one that cannot be broken or lost. Let's commit to love itself. Let's commit to presence. Let's commit to meeting in the here and now, which is the only time we ever have. Take a deep breath into that one. Oh, yes, into the here and now, and to bringing and showing all of ourselves. Let's not hide anymore. To telling the truth today and knowing that our truth may change tomorrow. To listening to one another, to bowing before each other's experience, even if our hearts are broken and tender, even if we trigger the deepest pain in one another, the most profound disappointment, and the strongest urges and longings. Let's be willing to listen to each other where we are. Boy, Jeff's somebody who doesn't run away from life. He faces it. Let us commit to meeting our own pain. Oh, God. Oh, can I just sit up with that one? Let's meet our own pain. And then he says this: love is a field. It's not a form. Let us commit to this field. And remember, the field is in every moment of our precious days here on earth, and devote ourselves to that field called the eternal now. This is the moment the Lord has made. Could I rejoice and be glad in it? To see the good, the God in everything, especially the stuff that is really challenging us. And Jeff says this: and if we are honest, we really do not know. And guess what? Not knowing can be your home. Oh, God. We don't know, and not knowing can be your home. And when our eyes are wide open, when we are awake, we live very close to life, very close to death, very close to insecurity, very close to loss. But this is where we find the greatest aliveness, on the edge, where everything is always new, and where we are constantly surprised by ourselves and by each other. We're living on the edge of now. And lastly, he says, you cannot abandon this path now, and nobody has to walk with you ever. So at some point, only truth with a capital T will satisfy you. This is a living truth, Adam. Renews itself in each and every moment, and this wild truth emerges from our heart. Could we open to that wild truth that lives in our heart, that's setting us free of the tyranny of the me, and has us move into the we and arrive at the all? It's all the one. And when love and truth are one, when the commitment is deeply rooted in our breath, we can finally face each other without any resentment, and we can explode into the most melancholy sunsets, held in the most profound joy, walking alone together alone, and allow the one that we all are to flower. That's it. You are always seeking security in an inherently insecure cosmos. It is the loneliness of forever being at the point of pure creation. It is the loneliness of leaving the known world, and confronting the precious passing moments. It is the loneliness that exists in the core of every being, the loneliness that is the realization. I am living and I am dying, and I cannot resolve the mystery for myself, and nobody can resolve it but me. And nobody can breathe for me, or love for me, or die for me, because this is it. And out of the mind and into the presence, this is the intimacy that I now find with life. This is the loneliness that does not separate me or isolate me, but actually connects me profoundly with all life. It is the healthy loneliness, the oneness. And it takes courage and strength to stay near to it and to not run away into a habitual distraction. You meet this lonely one inside you, and it is now no longer lonely. You have touched life at the point of creation. Loneliness contains its own cure, so dive in. You're always with yourself. So that's Jeff Foster taking us into that beautiful place where we're all one. Should we do a little reprise of I release and I let go, and find that little one that's waiting for us? Babette, you want to grab one of those baskets, and if anybody has a donation, Jody would be happy that I thought of that.
I know you know the words, so sing along. And if you feel like dancing, dance. I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Again, I release and I let go. And let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I think we got a surprise here. Mom's got a surprise. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. Oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. That much again. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I want to see you shining. Let it shine.
Okay. The bell just donged. Dong. Oh, Kelly's going back. Look at that little angel. Oh, it's an invitation to just step into that loneliness, to be with the one that knows no other, the all oneness, you might say, the breath that we all share. There is but one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. And it's all in the world shining back at us. It's the one life. And we come here to experience that unity consciousness. And that sets us free of the little self that gets caught up in its crazy narrative. And yet we can embrace that little self because that little self has been with us for our whole life, assisting us on this journey to nowhere to now here. And we've arrived in the now moment. And we are grateful because we're no longer looking at what's wrong, but we're looking at what's right. Can I accept what is? And in that acceptance, set myself free of any resistance. And in that deepest acceptance, find the grace, the good, the God in it all. Sometimes there are physical challenges that we face. And when we meet that challenge, we find that we are embraced by a light and a love that is so, so, so necessary. And we smile because we have arrived at this sacred moment right now. We've sung this little light of mine. We've set an intention. We've released whatever it is that we release, and we've let go. And in releasing and letting go, we find ourselves free to be who we are, no longer bound by a narrative that no longer serves us. It's so sweet and so sacred, and yet it's always, always operating And we smile. Allow your breath to expand your soul. Give a sigh for the divine. Oh, yes, beloved, beloved, beloved. This life belongs to you. Do with it as you will. Oh, and then smile, because you ain't seen nothing yet. Let's stand up and make a circle. And let's affirm that oneness.